Our film begins with the hotshot new president of Go Food walking confidently through the airport. Kang Tae-moo has been working overseas for his grandfather's company, but flies back to Korea to take over as president. Tamu is meant to give an inaugural address to company employees. He sends in his place his chief secretary, Cha Sung-hoon. This upsets his grandfather, Chairman Kang Tae-moo. Go Food researcher Shin Ha-ri finds Taemu's absence at the meeting amusing. It's her birthday, and she receives a message from her crush, Lee Min-woo, about meeting her at his restaurant that night. Her best friend Jin Young-seo convinces her that Min-woo is going to ask her out. But Hari's hopes are crushed when he gifts her concert tickets and says that she could take a man with her. Tae-moo goes to his grandson's house to inform him of a special project he has for him. He wants to see Tamu with a wife, so he arranged 20 blind dates for him with women from the elite business world. Tamu immediately rejects the idea. However, Tae-moo convinces him by faking poor health and conceding to Taemu's wish to fire employee Mr. Park. That night at her family's restaurant, Hari and the neighboring store owner get into an altercation. She accidentally injures him and breaks his store's sign. Now she has to come up with a large sum to cover the damages. The next day, Hari gets lunch with Young-seo. Her friend is upset that her father is forcing her to go on yet another blind date, and she doesn't even know who he's set her up with this time. She persuades Hari to go on the date for her and scare the new suitor off. They've done the same in the past, but this time Young-seo will pay her. So Hari dresses up to get coffee with the blind date. It shocks her to discover that she's dating none other than the president of her own company. She does everything to put him off, but Tae-moo doesn't seem to care. Still, she's fairly convinced that she's intimidated him sufficiently by the end of the date. She tells Young-seo of her success and they celebrate with karaoke. But Tae-moo has different ideas. To avoid dates with 20 other women, he decides to marry Young-seo. When Young-seo finds out, she implores Hari to clean up this mess. The next day, Hari runs into Tae-moo and Tae-moo at Go Food. She keeps her back turned to them at all times. But Tae-moo catches sight of her ID and learns her name. He doesn't realize that she was the woman posing as Young-seo, but he does recognize her name. Hari was the employee responsible for bucket list fish, a proposal he really admired. Later, Sung-hoon runs into Young-seo at the supermarket. They don't find out each other's identities, but they do experience a moment of connection. Hari agrees to go on one more date on Young-seo's behalf. She tells Tae-moo that she refuses to marry him. How could she marry someone she doesn't even know? He proposes they go on 10 dates so they can get to know each other before she makes a decision. She still rejects him. When she goes to leave, she nearly runs into her crush, Min-woo. She panics. He can't see her dressed as a socialite. We see Hari getting into Tae-moo's car as she tries to avoid Min-woo. She again refuses his proposal, but he insists that he'll marry her anyway. She insults him by saying she could never marry someone who looks like an Archaeopteryx. This offends him more than anything else she's said to him so far. At work the next day, Hari notices her coworker Haiji getting a call from Min-woo. When Haiji goes out to meet him, Hari follows. She spies on them and sees Min-woo give her coworker a gift. On her way back to her office, Hari runs into Tae-moo. She immediately turns around and runs, but she trips and falls. This causes her shoe to fly off her foot and hit Tae-moo in the face. She runs off without her shoe, and he chases after her. When he catches her, he takes notice of her name badge, but doesn't see her face. He gives her shoe back and commends her on the work she's been doing. In her office, she finds out from Haiji that Min-woo was simply returning a gift she had given him. He said he was uncomfortable with the gesture. Later that night, Young-seo meets with Tae-moo to clear up whom she actually is. First, she bumps into Sung-hoon and gives him her card. Young-seo tells Tae-moo that she hired someone to impersonate her, but Tae-moo suspects that the impersonator was a friend of hers. He has a peculiar reaction to her story. He's angrier at the fake Young-seo than the real one, and he wants to see the woman from his blind date before he calls off the marriage proposal. Young-seo agrees to set up a meeting. Min-woo later calls her to ask why she hasn't stopped by lately. She promises she'll be by to see him soon. That night, Ha-ri gets a call from Tamu, who is outside her house. She makes herself up to go down and meet him. He gives her a fake dating contract he's drafted and a profile of himself, which he tells her to memorize. She thinks his idea is crazy and runs out of his car. He goes after her. Just then, she catches sight of Min-woo walking up to the shop. Ducking from his sight, she knocks over Tamu and collapses on top of him. Then an accidental kiss between Ha-ri and Tamu, as Ha-ri pushes him to the ground to evade Min-woo's notice. The next morning, Ha-ri signs the contract to pretend to be Tamu's girlfriend in front of Chairman Kang. They clarify the plan. Tamu will introduce her as Ji-hui, but they will invent details about her family to make her seem like a suitable partner for him. He gives her a slideshow of facts to memorize about him, which Ha-ri spends almost all of her time studying. She remarks to Young-seo that his parents are deceased. Young-seo recalls rumors that someone was responsible for the accident that killed them, which caused Chairman Kang to fire all the blood relatives in his company in order to protect Tamu. When Ha-ri goes over what she has learned about Tamu, he criticizes her approach. She'll need to accomplish a lot more than rote memorization in order to please his grandfather. So, she tries to invent a romantic account about how they met on a rainy day in New York. He scoffs, asserting that the story is ridiculous. When he drops Ha-ri off at home, Sung-hoon remarks that Ji-hui is oddly endearing. Tamu doesn't respond, but gives a faint smile. Meanwhile, Young-seo fights with her father about the blind dates he has been forcing on her. She decides to move out, and he cuts her off from his funds. After staying with Ha-ri for a while, she eventually finds a flat she can afford. It just so happens that she'll be living right next door to Sung-hoon. Young-seo then takes a chance and suggests that they get to know one another better. He shuts her down immediately, however. She made things difficult for Tamu, so Sung-hoon doesn't think it appropriate to get to know her personally. Ha-ri takes a break from studying Tamu's profile in order to create a portfolio about Min-woo. Go Food needs a new chef so to market a new product, and Ha-ri's team wants to pitch her friend as a contender. Ha-ri's presentation in front of Tamu goes very well. She visits Min-woo's restaurant to share the good news, only to find that he's on a date with his ex-girlfriend, Ura. Heartbroken, Ha-ri runs outside. She drops all of her things, and her phone falls through a sewer grate. Just Tamu calls her. He hears her sobbing on the other end of the phone, but he hangs up when he realizes she didn't mean to answer his call. They meet Chairman Kang the next day, and Ha-ri charms him as Ji-hui. Although dinner was all they had planned, Chairman Kang catches sight of Ha-ri's Mellowmance concert tickets. Noticing the date on the tickets is today, the chairman insists they go. He drops them off himself, which forces Ha-ri and Tamu to attend. At the concert, Mellowmance reads out a song request from Min-woo. His request goes out to his friend for always being there for him. He adds that he hopes she brought a boyfriend for the event. The song they play is one that Ha-ri and Min-woo used to enjoy together. Ha-ri cries throughout the performance, thinking of Min-woo. Tamu discreetly hands her a handkerchief and tries to comfort her outside. Afterwards, they order street food, but as Ha-ri is about to dig in, a baseball comes flying at her and hits her in the eye. The next day, Ha-ri has to go to work with a black eye. In the next scene, we see Ha-ri running into Tamu on the elevator. She quickly turns around and puts a bandage over her eye. At Go Food, Min-woo helps Ha-ri's team at the company's tasting event. Tamu attends and commends Min-woo for his white kimchi ravioli. Later, Ha-ri eats with Min-woo at his restaurant. He says he hopes she brought a guy to the Mellowmance concert. But when she tells him that's what she did, he says she's too naive to get a good read on men. He'd like to meet this guy, but she says she can take care of herself, and that he should focus on his girlfriend. Tamu and Sung-hoon then turn up at Min-woo's restaurant, which causes Ha-ri to crawl away to hide. When Min-woo calls her, Tamu notes that her ringback tune is the Mellowmance song that was dedicated to Ji-hui at the concert. Ha-ri escapes with Young-seo and later tells her that Tamu isn't as bad as she thought. Young-seo wonders if there's more to her feelings than that. At the restaurant, Tamu asks Min-woo how long he and Ha-ri have been friends, and whether either of them ever developed feelings for the other. Min-woo seems put on the spot by the question. Tae-moo recalls Ji-hui, telling him about her crush of 7 years. Sung-hoon tells him that some restaurant employees were talking about how Ha-ri had a crush on Min-woo. Tae-moo remarks that Ha-ri and Ji-hui are similar. At her flat, Young-seo confronts Sung-hoon. She asks even if they can't be friends, why they can't be cordial neighbors. He's still resistant to speaking with her at all. She later flirts with another neighbor in front of Sung-hoon in order to make him jealous. Tae-moo and Sung-hoon later have dinner with Chairman Kang. The chairman complains of being lonely. He asks Sung-hoon to move back in, referring to him as his grandson. The chairman sneaks a peek at Sung-hoon's calendar, which shows that Tae-moo's and Ji-hui's 1-year anniversary is on Saturday. Daegu insists that Tae-moo cancel everything on his schedule to take her on a date. Ha-ri and other Go Food employees take a trip to Namhee, where they shoot a commercial for the company. The chairman himself stops by their location. Ha-ri does her best to hide her face and sneaks off to the bathroom to accept a call from Tae-moo. Tae-moo tells her his grandfather found out about their fake anniversary, so he asks her out. He also remarks that her Ring Back song is popular. The chairman later approaches the stall Ha-ri is in. When she comes out and sees him, she goes back in and shuts the door. Fed up with her, he tries to force the door open and ends up falling backwards. Later, Tae-moo views behind-the-scenes footage of the commercial, which shows Ha-ri without her eye patch on. He decides to use the footage of Ha-ri for the official commercial. Chairman Kang has no idea of Ji-hui's real identity, even remarking that Ha-ri is nowhere near as bright a young woman as our Ji-hui. Tae-moo defends Ha-ri to him. That night, Tae-moo shows up in front of Ha-ri's house. She goes out to see him comically wearing a bear suit and helmet over her head. She almost blows her cover by making a statement about his grandfather's fall, but saves herself. He shyly gives her an ointment for her eye. In her room, Ha-ri reflects that Tae-moo has a sweet side to him. Tae-moo is baffled that he wanted to see her just to check on her injury. On Saturday, he picks her up for their fake anniversary. His grandfather planned the whole date to copy a scene from his favorite TV show, so Tae-moo takes her shopping. Ha-ri models several outfits in front of him. He ends up buying her an expensive dress she has trouble fitting into. After shopping, Tae-moo and Ha-ri get dinner together at a private place. Young-seo meanwhile goes to work out at her flat's gym, where she runs into both Sung-hoon and her new neighbor. The neighbor helps her work out. Young-seo is frustrated that she's not interested in him. She instead can't stop thinking about Sung-hoon, even though he's been expressing no interest in her. She doesn't realize that he's currently watching her with jealousy. In the gym's bathroom, Sung-hoon notices that the neighbor can read a clock from the opposite side of the room without his glasses. He's suddenly extremely suspicious of him. The neighbor later gives Young-seo one of his designs, a standing lamp. She seems uncomfortable with the gift, but he insists. At their dinner, Ha-ri's dress feels uncomfortably tight. When she bends down to pick up her purse, it rips in the back. The chefs come out to congratulate them on their anniversary, so Tae-moo steps behind her, hiding a smile. When they walk outside, her shoe falls off. He slips it back on, telling her to be careful. Fireworks go off in the sky, over the Han River. Looking at her, Tae-moo remarks the fireworks are very pretty. He brings her home, and she tells him she had fun on their fake anniversary date. He reiterates the sentiment, except with the fake descriptor. On his way home, Tae-moo is smiling about their date. He notices that Ha-ri left her wallet behind in his car. He returns to her place, calling her without an answer. It's then that Min-woo shows up at the shop. Tae-moo is confused as Min-woo calls for Ha-ri, and she answers. Recognition settles in his eyes as he opens up the wallet to see the ID that Ji-hui left behind. It belongs to Ha-ri. The episode ends with him calling Ji-hui on the phone. Ha-ri answers, not realizing that Tae-moo stands just a few meters from her. We see Tae-moo standing outside Ha-ri's house and finding out about her identity as Ji-hui. Tae-moo goes over all of their interactions in his head, becoming angrier and angrier that Ha-ri deceived him. At work, Ha-ri gets a text from Tae-moo asking her to meet him near her workplace. She rushes to meet him for coffee. There, he asks her where she works. He says he realized he doesn't know much about her and wants to get to know her better, but she continues to lie to him. On the phone, he schedules a meeting with her food development team right in front of her. When she arrives late, he requests that she redo her ravioli product to lower its cost while maintaining its quality. Sung-hoon notices Tae-moo's emotional treatment of Ha-ri. Tae-moo informs him of her true identity and promises he will make her realize the mistake she's made. A montage shows Ha-ri working and experimenting on different ravioli products, but Tae-moo disapproves of each one. One day, Chairman Kang visits the company for lunch. He mentions the upcoming founding anniversary ceremony. The chairman also asks after Jin-hui, requesting that Tae-moo schedule a meeting between all of them. Tae-moo later meets with Ha-ri as Jin-hui and asks her to attend the ceremony. She tries to make an excuse, but he catches her on it. He insists she'll have to pay the penalty fee in their contract if she can't make it to the event. Sung-hoon tells Tae-moo he feels sorry for Ha-ri. After all, this whole plan was Tae-moo's idea, and he even made it sound like a threat to Ha-ri. He remarks to him that he tends to lose his calm in situations that involve Ha-ri. In the flat next door, Young-seo tells Ha-ri about the lamp she received as a gift from her new neighbor. The camera zooms in on the lamp and their voices become muffled, as if the lamp is bugged. At work the next day, Ha-ri finds that her proposal for bucket list fish won her a major award. However, when she realizes she'll receive an award from President Kang himself at the founder's ceremony, her celebration is cut short. She decides to build a plan in advance so she won't have to attend as Ha-ri. Tae-moo has a plan to trap her, however. He sends her entire family an invitation so that everyone in her life will expect her to be there. Ha-ri dreams that she tries to be two people at once but can't pull it off. Young-seo meanwhile runs into Sung-hoon at a new restaurant. When they are forced to sit together, she jokingly draws a line between their seats and insists neither of them cross it. The night before the ceremony, Ha-ri drinks too much at a dinner with her colleagues. She calls Tae-moo to says she can't attend the ceremony but can't pay the penalty fee either. She trips and accidentally hangs up. When he can't reach her, Tae-moo gets in his car and tries to find her. He runs around to different shops, eventually ending up at the park, where he finds Ha-ri lying inside a tunnel slide. She tells him this must be a dream. He wouldn't chase after her in real life. She says since this is a dream, she wants to tell him a secret. She admits she is Ha-ri and Jin-hui, apologizing for everything. Eventually, one of her co-workers comes looking for her, and Tae-moo leaves. The next morning, she wakes up to a text from Tae-moo saying he has fired her. She celebrates, realizing she doesn't have to worry so much anymore. Tae-moo has forgiven Ha-ri. He thinks his brain has confused him into thinking he's interested in her. So he goes on a business trip to try to take his mind off her. But on his trip, he starts seeing Ha-ri everywhere. An imaginary Ha-ri even tries to get him to admit his feelings for her. Meanwhile, Ha-ri remembers her time with Tae-moo. She thought she would be relieved to be freed from her obligation to him. She receives a call from Chairman Kang though, who asks her to dinner. So, she calls Tae-moo to ask what she should do, but he doesn't answer. At her flat, Young-seo accidentally knocks over the lamp from her neighbor and finds a bug implanted in the bulb. She bags up the pieces and goes outside to head to the police station, but the neighbor stops her outside. He picks up the bag she dropped. He takes it, insisting he'll fix it for her. When Sung-hoon returns from the business trip, the neighbor knocks Young-seo over and runs with the lamp. Sung-hoon chases after him, and they fight, but Sung-hoon eventually pins him to the ground. As Tae-moo is about to meet his grandfather for dinner, he calls Sung-hoon, who tells him about the incident. Just then, Ha-ri arrives. Tae-moo didn't know she was coming, but she says she had to come as the chairman requested. He asks if she knows about what happened to Young-seo. She doesn't, so he grabs her arm to pull her away. The episode ends with him calling her Ha-ri, although she's dressed as Jin-hui. We see Tae-moo admitting to Ha-ri that he knows her true identity. They then rush to the police station together to find Young-seo and Sung-hoon. At the station, an officer tells Young-seo that the perpetrator will likely only be fined. Tae-moo, however, has Sung-hoon dig up the man's personal information. He later informs the perpetrator, Shin Jong-seo, that he's buying out his company and firing him. He also has evidence that the man has filmed several more women, and he threatens to put him in jail for a long time. Ha-ri tries to avoid Tae-moo at work. He texts her, asking her to meet him after work to talk. Tae-moo later admits to Sung-hoon that he has feelings for Ha-ri. He's certain that he should tell her, so he practices his approach before their dinner. That evening, they meet at Chairman Kang's private restaurant. But Ha-ri doesn't want to eat. She hands him a resignation letter for the company, thinking it was his intention to fire her all along. But she does beg for another chance. Tae-moo realizes that Ha-ri doesn't like him romantically, so he simply says he'll think about her request. Later, Ha-ri gets dinner with a group of her friends, including Young-seo, Min-woo, Ura. At the dinner, Ura baits Young-seo into insisting that Ha-ri has a boyfriend. When Min-woo asks, Ha-ri says it was the guy she went to the concert with. Ura notices that Min-woo appears jealous. She and a few friends plan to accompany Min-woo to Busan that weekend, where he will be featured on a TV program. Young-seo says Ha-ri has plans with her boyfriend that weekend. At work, Ha-ri awaits Tae-moo's decision. He rips up her resignation letter in front of her, and she thanks him effusively. He says he'll see her that evening to work on a secret project. Tae-moo asks her to the cinema after work, where they'll watch a film about food development as research. When she struggles to recline her chair, he does it for her, almost kissing her in the process. She quickly rushes to the bathroom. When she gets out, she sees two of her co-workers who have come to the movies together. Ha-ri rushes back into the theater to hide Tae-moo before they come in. Tae-moo is forced to crawl out of the theater on his hands and knees, and Ha-ri must watch the movie with her co-workers. Tae-moo thinks of another excuse to ask Ha-ri out. He decides to take her on a business trip with him to Sakcho-si. They go to the beach to eat at a food truck, and he asks her questions about her life. She wonders at his attentiveness. Young-seo and Sung-hoon run into each other at a restaurant again, and Sung-hoon asks that she stop avoiding him. He follows her when she leaves, worried she can't get home after so many drinks. She then drunkenly confesses that she fell for him the first time she saw him. They kiss in the street. On their drive from the beach, it begins raining. Tae-moo starts panicking, hearing his own voice crying for his parents. He drops Ha-ri off on the side of the road and drives away. He has flashbacks to seeing his parents die in a car crash in the rain. Ha-ri's phone dies, but she sees a hotel and walks toward it. The rain dies and Tae-moo calms down, so he goes back to the stop, but he doesn't see Ha-ri. She runs into Ura at the hotel, who says Min-woo's filming was moved there. They all insist on seeing her boyfriend. In the next scene, we see Tae-moo calling Ha-ri. Her phone is charging at the hotel, so an employee picks up for her. He shows up at the hotel, where he hears Ha-ri's friends giving her a hard time about her date not being with her. So he walks up to introduce himself as her boyfriend. Ura invites them to dinner, which Tae-moo accepts. He later apologizes to Ha-ri for leaving her on the road. At dinner, Tae-moo acts the part of the charming boyfriend. When the friends ask what made Tae-moo fall for Ha-ri, he says he knew she was the girl for him the moment he saw her. They are further charmed when they learn that Tae-moo is the president at Ha-ri's company. Ha-ri and Tae-moo agree to stay at the hotel that night, and they have to share a room so Ura and the others don't get suspicious. Ura is annoyed that Ha-ri is dating such a perfect guy. When Min-woo arrives, she tells him about how she is dating the president of Go Food. Meanwhile, Young-seo wakes up in Sung-hoon's flat. She thinks they must have slept together. When he gets back with hangover soup, she asks that they pretend whatever happened between them didn't. Ha-ri finds Min-woo in the lobby the next morning. When Tae-moo sees them, he puts his arm around Ha-ri, which makes Min-woo uncomfortable. When Min-woo suggests Ha-ri could stay in the city with them whenever Tae-moo has to leave for work, Tae-moo decides to rearrange his schedule to stay with Ha-ri for another day. The six of them go sailing. Min-woo takes Tae-moo aside to ask why it had to be Ha-ri when he could date anyone. Tae-moo gets angry, asking that Min-woo never judge his girlfriend again. They decide to go fishing next, and the men make a competition of the sport. They fish for hours, until Ha-ri nearly collapses from exhaustion. Tae-moo drives her to the hospital. Ha-ri worries that Tae-moo wasted his time on her. He asks if she really doesn't know why he did all those things. Finally, he admits he has feelings for her and that he was jealous of Min-woo. He then apologizes, asking her to take her time to think about everything. Chairman Kang storms into Tae-moo's office. He shows him pictures that were taken of Tae-moo and a mystery woman that weekend and demands that he explain. Tae-moo says he broke up with Ji-hui. He wasn't cheating on her. Young-seo runs into Sung-hoon at a parking garage, where she tries and fails to hide from him. He tells her to stop making him look pathetic. He says he fell for her, but will forget anything happened between them just like she asked. She follows him into his flat, where she admits that she doesn't remember sleeping with him. She was so flustered that morning, she just tried to erase the incident. He laughs. He says that from now on, he'll make sure she never forgets, and kisses her. Ha-ri plans to reject Tae-moo, but finds herself smiling every time she thinks of him. A week passes, and she still hasn't given him an answer. Tae-moo selects someone from Ha-ri's team to do a promotional video with Min-woo. He hopes to catch just a glimpse of Ha-ri during the video. However, when he arrives, he's surprised to find that she is in it. Ha-ri had to take the place of her sick coworker. Seeing them shoot together makes Tae-moo jealous. Ha-ri gets flustered when she sees Tae-moo watching her and spills sauce on her coat. Tae-moo is waiting for her when she gets out of the bathroom. When Chairman Kang arrives, he grabs her hand and runs from his grandfather. He says he told his grandfather that he broke up with Ji-hui, and now he's trying to set up blind dates for him again. Ha-ri says he should go on the blind dates, so he asks her why she's rejecting him. She says she worries about the opinions of others, like his grandfather. He says that shouldn't matter. He tells her he won't give up, but will keep asking her out. She says it's obvious she's not right for him, so why does he keep making her like him? We see a kiss between Ha-ri and Tae-moo. Ha-ri breaks away and asks that they pretend it never happened. After work, Ha-ri and Tae-moo talk in his car. She continues to insist the kiss was a mistake, and Tae-moo says it wasn't fair for her to kiss him. Now she owes him. They agree that she will buy him dinner. Their dinner comes out in courses, and Ha-ri worries about not being able to pay for all of it. At the end of the meal, he ends up paying. He says what he wants from her is even bigger. Young-seo surprises Sung-hoon with a homemade dinner. She asks for honest feedback, so he gives it, even though it means insulting her cooking. Later, Sung-hoon surprises Young-seo by taking her hiking, which she's not so enthusiastic about, and she's already angry about the dinner. Young-seo complains about Tae-moo on their hike, but Sung-hoon defends him. They get into a fight and she walks back to the car. She causes both of them to get lost and even trips, spraining her ankle. When Sung-hoon carries her back to the car without complaint, she forgives him, and they reconcile. Tae-moo calls Ha-ri, asking that she spend the day with him at the fair as repayment. They have a fun-filled day in bumper cars, on a carousel, and at gift shops. When they get corn dogs, Tae-moo reminisces about his parents. He thanks Ha-ri for letting him talk about them so freely. Ha-ri's parents then call her to the hospital. Her dad has appendicitis, and there is no private room for him. So, Tae-moo has him moved to a VIP room. Ha-ri lies and says Tae-moo is a supervisor on her development team. When her mother mentions how Ha-ri has been complaining about the president of the company, Tae-moo becomes indignant. Min-woo, meanwhile, is at Ha-ri's house with her brother Ha-min. Min-woo cuts himself when dropping a glass, so Ha-min directs him to bandages in Ha-ri's room. There, he finds the fake dating contract. That night, he overhears Tae-moo tell Ha-ri that he's changed his mind. Now that he knows she bad-mouthed him, he wants her to pay him back with a kiss. Min-woo then rushes forward and punches him in the face. Ha-ri steps between them. When she sees the police nearby, she tells Tae-moo to go home and goes with Min-woo. Min-woo shows her the contract he found. He's upset Ha-ri didn't tell him about it. Ha-ri says it wasn't anyone's business and that he needs to give Tae-moo a formal apology. He asks if she actually likes him, maintaining that it won't work out between the two of them. She leaves, angry. Ha-ri texts Tae-moo, thanking him for the day they spent together. She promises to pay him back for the hospital bill when she has the money. When he doesn't respond, she becomes anxious. At the office, Tamu catches Sung-hoon kissing Young-seo. He's upset Sung-hoon didn't tell him about their relationship, but he leaves it at that. Chairman Kang is waiting for Tamu in his office. He tells him he has scheduled for him a date with Jo Yoo-jong, Young-seo's cousin. She is also the daughter of the powerful director Jin Chae-rim from the Marine Art Museum. Ha-ri sprains her wrist when playing dodgeball during a sports competition between the food development teams. A one-on-one dinner with the president is announced as the prize for the MVP of the competition. Despite her injury, Ha-ri insists she is fine to keep playing. She wins for her team and wins the dinner with Tamu. At dinner with her team, she learns that Tamu can't make it because of a blind date. She regrets pushing Tamu away, so she calls him to tell him to stop his blind date. She says she wants to stop thinking about other people and just think about the two of them. He says he never thought about going on that date. As they drive to meet each other, both get stuck in traffic. They get out of their cars and meet on a bridge, where they kiss. In the next scene, we see Sung-hoon greeting Yoo-jong in Tamu's place. He tells her President Kang can't date her, as he has plans to marry someone else. Yoo-jong keeps contacting Sung-hoon after their encounter. He tells her he has a girlfriend, but she still pesters him to date her instead. She even confides in Young-seo that she is dating someone. Yoo-jong's mother overhears them. She misunderstands her daughter's meaning and tells Chairman Kang that Tamu and Yoo-jong are dating. She now wants to plot with the chairman to get their children married. Ha-ri and Tamu start dating, but they have a difficult time keeping their relationship a secret from Ha-ri's co-workers. Min-woo apologizes to Ha-ri for overstepping his boundaries, and Ha-ri forgives him. She tells him she is now actually seeing Tamu. This obviously discourages Min-woo, who later has lunch with Ura. When she brings up marriage, he admits that he isn't ready. Yoo-jong shows up at Sung-hoon's place drunk, begging him to reciprocate her feelings. He takes her in and tries to hide her when Young-seo shows up to cook him a meal. He says Tamu is there, so he'll have to get rid of him before Young-seo can come in. Ha-ri and Tamu go on a date disguised as a company dinner. Both admit that they hate keeping their relationship a secret, but Ha-ri insists that they remain discreet. At work, Yoo-jong vents to Young-seo about how it's over with the guy she has been seeing. Young-seo encourages her to be persistent with him. So, Yoo-jong shows up at Go Food to apologize to Sung-hoon. But Chairman Kang overhears their conversation and finds out that Tamu never went on that blind date. He asks Tamu who he has actually been seeing, but his own stomach pain interrupts him. Meanwhile, Ha-ri's co-workers Mr. Guy and Ms. Yeo fight about Mr. Guy's taking their relationship public. Ha-ri follows them into the men's bathroom to try to calm them down. When Tamu leads Chairman Kang to the same restroom, the chairman becomes angry with Ha-ri for always being in the wrong place at the wrong time. After this incident, Ha-ri types a letter of apology to Chairman Kang. That night, Tamu takes Ha-ri's food production development team out to dinner. Everyone is uncomfortable at first, but they all loosen up when Tamu agrees to have bomb shots with them. Yoo-jong rants to Young-seo again about how she's ruined her chances with her boyfriend. To comfort her, Young-seo brings Yoo-jong to her dinner with Sung-hoon and his mother. Yoo-jong makes a scene when she finds out that Young-seo is dating Sung-hoon. With the entire situation revealed, Young-seo feels betrayed that Sung-hoon would keep so many secrets from her, and that he would go on the blind date for Tamu in the first place. She says of his allegiance to Tamu, "Are you their family's servant?" This unsettles Sung-hoon, and he freezes momentarily. At the team dinner, Tamu holds Ha-ri's hand under the table. When Ms. Kim ducks under the table, she sees this and tells everyone. They all blame this accusation on her drunken state. She continues to swear she saw them holding hands as Mr. Guy and Ms. Yeo carry her home. As Ha-ri and Tamu are left alone, Chairman Kang drives by and sees them together. We see Chairman Kang demanding an explanation as to why Tamu and Ha-ri are alone at night. The rest of Ha-ri's co-workers return to retrieve Ms. Kim's cell phone, explaining to the chairman about their team dinner. Still, Chairman Kang knows Tamu is seeing someone. He encourages Tamu to tell him, He'll approve as long as his grandson likes her. Tamu promises to introduce her soon. Young-seo tells Ha-ri about how she's going to break up with Sung-hoon. When the two of them see Sung-hoon and Tamu together, they get into a taxi and follow them. They follow them to an orphanage, where Sung-hoon's mom introduces herself to Young-seo. Young-seo chats one-on-one with her, learning that Sung-hoon was 5 when he first came to the orphanage. She also learns of Tamu's parents, who supported the orphanage when they were alive. Tamu, meanwhile, explains to Ha-ri that Sung-hoon came to live with him when he was in middle school. Young-seo accepts Sung-hoon's apology, and the four of them hang out together at Ha-ri's place, as her parents are out of town. Tamu even apologizes personally to Young-seo, bribing her with an embarrassing video of Sung-hoon. As the couples are eating, Tamu spills soda on his shirt, and Ha-ri takes him to another room so he can change. Ha-ri's parents get back early, so Ha-ri pushes Tamu into her room. While her parents eat with Young-seo and Sung-hoon, she eventually manages to sneak him out of the house, only to be caught by her brother, Ha-min. They tell him the truth of Tamu being the president of Go Food and Ha-ri's boyfriend. Ha-min loves him instantly, and promises not to tell their parents about the relationship. The next morning, Young-seo and Sung-hoon work out together. Someone secretly takes pictures of them and brings them to Young-seo's father. URA invites Ha-ri to get drinks with her, asking her to get out of Min-woo's life. Min-woo walks in and overhears URA mentioning a time in the past when she cheated on him. Ha-ri doesn't care to involve herself in their drama. She excuses herself to call Tamu and ask him on a date. They go out together the next night, and it rains heavily. Ha-ri, having overheard people talk about the death of Tamu's parents, tries to avoid the rain to keep Tamu from thinking about that fateful rainy night. At the end of their date, Ha-ri leaves to secretly meet with Chairman Kang. He was sent pictures of Ha-ri and Tamu, and he knows she is Ji-hui. The scene cuts to Tamu, who gets a call. He makes a sharp turn so that a motorcycle drives right in front of his path. In the next scene, we see Ha-ri telling Chairman Kang everything, starting with her fake relationship with Tamu. He cuts her off before she can finish. Thinking their relationship has always been a sham, he orders her to stop seeing him. When he gets a call about Tamu's accident, he leaves. Ha-ri shows up at the hospital too, where Chairman Kang yells at her. Tamu walks in fine except for a broken arm, and Ha-ri says she'll be on her way. But Tamu stops her and tells his grandfather that he loves her. Chairman Kang insists Tamu ends things with Ha-ri, but Tamu counters by threatening to never give him grandchildren. The chairman is upset that everything about Ha-ri has been a lie, but Tamu takes all of the blame. Ha-ri leaves but later returns, concerned about Tamu because it has started to rain. They stand at a window, staring at the rain outside while Tamu reminisces about his childhood. He thanks Ha-ri for being concerned about him. He says his parents' accident happened because of him. On his birthday, they were hurrying back home so they could go to an amusement park with their son. He still worries his parents resent him for causing their accident. Ha-ri then asks if he resents her for causing his accident. He doesn't. And she insists that his parents love him, just as he loves her. That night, Ha-ri falls asleep in Tamu's bed. Her mom catches her sneaking back home, but thinks she's heading out to work and ushers her out the door. Young-seo later shows Ha-ri the comments on Ha-ri's promotional video with Min-woo for Go Food. URA commented on it to lambast Ha-ri, telling everyone that she has been crushing on Min-woo for years, and yet is dating the president of her company. Chairman Kang sees the comments and has the video taken down. At work, Ms. Yeo says the higher-ups have told their development team to stop their current project. They say it's a bad idea to continue work with Ha-ri's name on it, as she is getting bad publicity. People talk about Ha-ri behind her back at work, but her own team stands up for her. Ha-ri sees this and sobs, going up to hug them. Young-seo goes to Ha-ri's family restaurant to try and keep her parents from finding out about the scandal. All the while, Tamu is oblivious to what's going on. He calls Ha-ri to say he feels relieved to have his grandfather know their secret. He now wants everyone to know. Just as he is about to suggest they get married, the call disconnects. Tamu overhears his grandfather talking about sending him somewhere. He wants to send him to work in America for 2 years so he can take time to think about the consequences of being with Ha-ri. Tae-moo insists that he wants to marry her. But Chairman Kang doesn't give up. He tells Ha-ri he wants her to work in the Taejin factory until things calm down. If this makes her unhappy, he suggests she resign. She refuses, listing off all of her achievements for his company. She then goes on a walk to process everything that's happened. Tae-moo finally learns of the scandal and worries that Ha-ri has been suffering alone. He learns from his grandfather about the plan to get Ha-ri to move or resign. The chairman says the board could demand Tae-moo's resignation if he protests. In a frenzy, Tae-moo searches for Ha-ri. He even shows up at the restaurant to ask her parents where she is. When he addresses them as mother and father, they demand to know why. They still think he is Ha-ri's colleague, Mr. Guy. Ha-min corrects them, spilling that he is President Kang and is dating Ha-ri. Meanwhile, Young-seo's father shows up to ask her and Sung-hoon to dinner. At dinner, he says he approves of them dating and suggests that Sung-hoon could potentially inherit his company. He wants to make amends with Young-seo. She agrees, though she needs time to process everything. On their drive back to the flat, Young-seo finds a diamond ring in Sung-hoon's glove box. This leads him to stop the car, get out, and propose to her. Ha-ri finally calls Tae-moo back, and they meet at the Seoul Tower, where he asks her to never disappear again. In the next scene, we see Chairman Jin calling Sung-hoon to ask him to break up with Young-seo, but keep it a secret from her. But Young-seo overhears this. Though she pretends she's fine, Sung-hoon can tell this deeply upsets her. Ha-ri's mother is suspicious of Ha-ri's whereabouts last night. When she sees Tae-moo drop her daughter off in the morning, she scolds both of them. When she calms down, everyone has lunch together to celebrate Young-seo's birthday. Tae-moo says he wants to date and marry Ha-ri. Her parents worry about the scandal that would ensue due to their low social status. Tae-moo speaks with Ha-ri's father privately. He asks Tae-moo to protect Ha-ri so that she doesn't suffer so much gossip and scandal. Tae-moo promises to do everything he can. Ha-ri meets Min-woo for tea. He also apologizes on behalf of URA. He confesses that they were never right for each other, and he never plans to date her again. Min-woo now has plans to travel the world. He asks Ha-ri if they could be close friends again after he returns, and she says that might take some time. They shake hands, saying goodbye. After Chairman Jin demands that Sung-hoon break up with Young-seo, she goes to see her father. It's not to go along with his wishes, however. Instead, she hands him her resignation. Later, Sung-hoon cooks Young-seo a proper birthday meal. Now that she's resigned, she wants to start her own company. Sung-hoon wants to invest if she can come up with a proper business plan, and he surprises her with a large sum of money. While Ha-ri and Tae-moo are at work, Tae-moo gets a call from someone saying that his grandfather collapsed. The person never hangs up, so Tae-moo overhears the chairman laughing. He is simply scheming to get Tae-moo to come to the hospital. So, Ha-ri goes to the hospital instead, hoping the chairman can come to like her if they spend some time together. He orders her out, but she stays to help him get around. She brings him tea, watches TV with him, sings. It seems that Chairman Kang enjoys her company, but he doesn't show it to Ha-ri. Later, the doctor tells Tae-moo it's a good thing his grandfather came in for a checkup. They caught some serious heart issues that they can't treat in Korea. Tae-moo tells Ha-ri he has to take his grandfather to the States to get the treatment he needs. He asks her to come with him, but she refuses. She thinks there would be too many rumors surrounding such a situation and doesn't want him to get hurt. Additionally, the chairman is their most important concern right now. He doesn't like her, so she thinks she should stay out of the way. They decide not to break up, but they won't see each other for a while. He asks her to wait for him. 1 year later, Ha-ri is still working for her food development team. Ms. Yeo and Mr. Guy are now married and competitively work opposite each other. Sung-hoon has taken the year off to be with Young-seo and help her with her business. Tae-moo has been working at the New York branch for a year, while Chairman Kang still receives treatment. He and Ha-ri video chat, but he leaves in the middle of the call to take care of work. Later, Ha-ri sees an article claiming a romance between Tae-moo and another woman. Ha-ri tries to reach him to ask him about the article. She even decides to use her vacation days to go to New York. As she's about to leave, he arrives in Seoul. He assures her the rumors aren't true, and they embrace. Tamu says the chairman told him not to come back to the States until he gave her what's in the box he's holding. He opens it to reveal a ring, and he proposes to Ha-ri. She accepts and they kiss.